World War II tanks that no one knows how they got there, nuclear bombs that put millions of families at risk, and decapitated horses that will make you rethink everything you've ever heard about Sweden. You're about to get a first-hand experience of horror, because what was captured in this lake shocked the entire world, and now you'll also be a witness of it. What was captured in this lake shocked the entire world. Number 5. Tiny animals. You may not be aware of the following information, but the world hides hundreds of lakes that have never been visited by humans. In fact, Antarctica is home to most of them, and in 2018, a group of researchers managed to penetrate Lake Mercer, a truly elusive area that was buried under 1 kilometer of ice. After drilling the small hole down to the icy waters of the depths, the researchers were extremely excited. They expected to find some interesting life forms, but their estimates were quickly exceeded almost instantly. At the bottom of Mercer Lake, there were dozens of tardigrades and countless bodies of tiny sea creatures. Tardigrades are famous for surviving intense pressures, and very few specimens have been found on our planet over time. This is due to the preference for extreme locations, where intense pressures and low temperatures are lethal to most living things. In addition to these creatures, we also found some common animals such as shrimp, small fish, and other marine creatures that were trapped in this area thousands of years ago. Since then, they've managed to adapt and survive in the middle of a terrain hidden from the human eye. Number 4. Tanks. Although several decades have passed since World War II, there are still very visible scars from the past, and in Eastern Europe, excavations show us the horrors of war every year. Recently, the Yakushev family has become extremely popular as one of the leading treasure hunters related to World War I and World War II. Their searches have located all sorts of objects from these great wartime contests, but none compared to the mighty T-34 tanks. These metal giants have been found in swamps and places where you'd least expect to find a tank. Perhaps the most famous of all was located in a shallow lake where thousands of people pass by every day, but which no one had realized was a great hiding place. The tank was identified as a T-34, famous for serving in the ranks of the Soviet Union Army, but surprisingly, it had a Nazi flag painted on the sides. After some investigation, it was discovered that this tank had been raided during a mission and the troops inside were reported missing. Thanks to this finding, they revealed the fate of these soldiers along with the tragic story they lived at the end of their lives. Number 3. A severed leg. Sometimes lakes hide all kinds of objects that you wouldn't expect to find in their depths. This is what happened in 2006 when 2 friends were canoeing near a beaver dam on a lake in Germantown, Maryland. There they discovered something out of place. It was an object floating on the surface. At first they thought it was a wooden plank or some dead fish, but as they got closer, they were in for a big surprise. Far from their initial ideas, the surprised sailors came across an orthopedic leg. How had it gotten there? That question was on their minds with great insistence. Usually these prostheses are extremely expensive and important to their owners, so this couldn't be a coincidence. There were only 2 possibilities. Either it had been lost in some unknown way, or on the contrary, it belonged to someone who ended up drowned in the lake. Days later, they both found the answer they were looking for. While researching on the internet, they discovered an ad on a Craigslist page where a 49-year-old man was asking the community for help finding his prosthetic leg, which he had lost in the lake. They quickly contacted Mark Warner, the ultimate owner of this prosthetic leg, and the reward they got for it was $50. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but the friends were content to have had a rather unusual experience. Number 2. Mystery Plane. Another one of these incredible finds happened in 2013 when a team of underwater explorers discovered a colossal sunken object in the depths of Lake Norman, North Carolina. Thanks to modern technology, sonar was able to detect the presence of this object, and when they managed to reach it, they concluded that they had just found something creepy. It was a huge aircraft used by airline instructors to instruct inexperienced pilots. How had a craft of such size gotten into the lake? The answer to this question came soon after when they discovered that the plane belonged to Barbara Anderson. Upon contacting her, she revealed the truth of this intriguing story. Apparently, one of the flight instructors who used the airplane forgot to set the landing gear after using it. We already know what the result was. The aircraft simply sank into the depths. Barbara had been trying to locate the whereabouts of this aircraft for years, as no one had thought of searching in the depths of the lake. Number 1. Nuclear bombs. Let's move on to one of the most terrifying and dangerous finds on the list. In this case, the discovery was located in June 1988 by a pair of Navy divers who were conducting test exercises in Lake Washington when something caught their attention. In the depths, a pair of huge metal objects didn't match the nature of the depths, and as they got closer, they discovered the true meaning of fear. There was a 45-kilogram nuclear bomb from World War II before them. The discovery shocked the divers, who quickly fled the site and contacted the military to investigate the strange find. After extracting and defusing the bomb, it was discovered that it was indeed a nuclear bomb that, in theory, had been dropped by an unknown aircraft but never exploded. This theory was never accepted as valid, but no further clarification of the matter was ever given. The case was closed, and the danger that these divers and the entire state experienced for years without anyone noticing, it was never again mentioned publicly by the Army of the country. 00. There's no doubt that most people tend to believe that Sweden is a peaceful and very quiet country where nothing strange happens. But after learning about these mysterious events, you'll drastically change your opinion about it. The fact is that the number of horse beheadings has been increasing enormously in this country during the last few years. The AFP news agency and many other sources have managed to investigate some of these events, and the results are chilling. Most of the attacks seem to be reported on the shores of Lake Vättern, south of the Swedish capital. Here, the local police have extracted numerous horse eyes, ears, and legs, not to mention the dozens of carcasses of these poor animals. In most cases, the horses are decapitated, although their heads have never been found in the depths of the lake. Their bodies are usually submerged in the depths and aren't discovered until much later. Although the authorities have made great efforts to find any clues that will help them identify the person responsible for these murders, there isn't a single clue that will lead them to a suspect. Whoever is carrying out these acts seems to have perfected their chilling method and has been evading the authorities for years. Surprisingly, this isn't the first case in Europe. The continent holds chilling secrets and stories that you'll wish with all your heart were not true. The only way you can prove that these words are true is to join us in the following videos and discover for yourself the horror that lurks in the heart of the old continent. Are you ready? Then check out these videos.